Oftentimes, professionals are trained to see trauma as a wound inside a person, a deep psychological injury that needs to be treated and healed. But what if the core of this idea, the idea of a private individual wound, is a myth? Kathy Harding, what do you think?
I suppose the problem with centering trauma around an individual is it implies that it's an individual's responsibility to heal that, or to I suppose it just doesn't fit with the idea that trauma happens relationally, it happens with others. And we know that what people need is safety and connection to help them with trauma that they've experienced.
Like, sort of, I guess a lot of our culture is about seeing ourselves as separate, like self-contained, but actually we're not islands. And what for you, in terms of being trauma informed, what does that fundamental interconnection, what does that look like if we're not in isolation?
Well, that need for safety and for co-regulation is what's of primary importance when we're helping people that have had trauma, and that idea of being able to respond to people's trauma, both the historical trauma that people might have had and the ongoing way that that's experienced for people.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I think you and I have been talking about a lot recently as well, is that kind of like our emotions aren't private feelings, that actually they're sort of shared relational experiences. And I know we've been talking about that a lot as kind of commoning, and that there's this kind of constant dynamic relationship within the world around us. So, I suppose this is a shift in our starting point. Do you want to have the final say of what that should look like for practitioners?
We've been talking, haven't we, about that idea of emotional communities and how those can be co-constructed with all the people that are part of those communities, and that those ideas are shared and thought about together rather than them belonging to professionals or belonging to people that need help.
So co-creation, that's the key. Thank you so much for listening, everybody.